don't touch that dial. And the synopsis for this one on my slides is much shorter than for the last episode. Anyway,
Yeah.
Josh, would you like to do the rundown?
Yeah, so this episode starts with Wanda and Vision in bed. Now, this should be mentioned, separate beds.
Yes.
Important for later on.
Yeah, it was kind of
Anyway.
it was the style at the time.
Yeah.
1960s.
So this is based on the 1960s sitcom. Is this the one based on? I can't remember what sitcom it's based on, but it's based on a 1960s sitcom. Since this TV show is going through the decades of
Yes.
sitcoms.
As the episodes progress, we go forward in decades as to what sitcom it's kind of mirroring. Last time was 1950s. I think it was Bewitched. And
No, 1950s was Dick Van Dyke Show. I think 60s
Really?
may have been Bewitched.
Right, so this one's probably Bewitched then.
Was there a shout-out reference to Chucklevision in the credits, or was that just me?
That's just you,
Probably
I'm
just
sure.
you.
I doubt very much it would reference a British children's television program in a TV series about sitcoms.
Maybe it was just the amount of repetition of the word vision.
Maybe.
Yeah, so this one does seem to have been based off Bewitched.
Yep.
This one. So yeah. Anyway, so it starts off where they're in separate beds in a bedroom, and there's a knocking on the window. So Wanda's trying to turn on and off the lights to wake Vision up.
Hey, and who turned off the lights?
And Vision wakes up and says, "Wanda, are you using your powers to turn on and off the lights?" And she says yes, and or something like that. And he goes, "Let me do it for you." He turns on the light, goes and looks at the window, nothing there. As he's getting back into bed, there's another knock, and he sort of jumps under the covers, which is pretty funny because it's kind of like he's just scared.
Yep.
And I think is that the point where I think either Wanda or Vision gets back out of bed, and then there's another knock. They get back in, and Wanda sort of brings the beds together or something.
I think
or maybe or maybe there's just another knock and she brings them together then. Something like that.
No, I thought that happened at the end of the episode, but I might be mistaken. I don't remember this
episode.
episode.
No, at the beginning, because it leads into the the opening credits.
All right.
Yeah. So she brings the beds together, and they go under the covers together. And opening credits.
Yep.
Mention for the opening credits. This is something I picked up on because I really want Grim Reaper to be in the MCU at some point. There was a Grim Reaper helmet between the two.
Of course, Grim Reaper being, of course, a bit of background. Grim Reaper is a character from Marvel Comics, and I believe Vision's brother, or something.
In the comics, Vision is technically a combination of Wonder Man and the original Human Torch, so I'm not sure if he has any relation to that.
Right. Well, basically, he's a character in Marvel Comics who has a helmet, who is animated in the opening title.
So, so then after that, sort of the morning, and I think is Wanda hears a noise from outside. Oh no, Vision says he's going off to do the community watch sort of group.
Yeah.
So he goes off to, I think it's the library.
Yeah, because there's some hooligans about.
Yeah. So then as he leaves and as he's gone, Wanda hears a noise outside. So she goes out to check it out, and there's a sort of toy helicopter in the bush.
Yes, there's
I think what's important with this is it's in colour.
Yeah, it's in colour a bit, which is weird. Of course, this episode is still in black and white, still in 4:3 aspect ratio, and there is a just helicopter in colour. Who knows what that's about?
But with the small logo on the side that matches the logo on the notebook from the end credits of episode 1.
Right, so maybe it's something to do with the outside world.
Yeah. So then Agnes comes by, and and then Wanda hides the helicopter back in the bush,
Mm.
and they're talking about going to see someone else who's hosting some sort of magic show. Oh yeah, before Vision leaves, they're practicing for a magic show, and they
Yes.
bring out like a disappearing cabinet that
Yep.
they've crafted, and Wanda talks about how someone else in the neighborhood has built a castle or something.
Yeah, there's a bit of a marking on the cupboard that they've built, and it looks a bit like the Mind Stone, oddly enough.
Hmm.
That's something I picked up on. This is something good about having all of us three here. We've seemed to have caught on to very different things.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, carry on.
So yeah, no, that happened earlier on, and then so Agnes and Wanda go to like some garden party with who they call like the sort of gateway to everything in Westview, who is
Mm.
Dottie.
Yep.
So they're there, and they keep saying that for the children for some
For the
reason.
children. It's kind of a town motto or something. It's certainly the
Yeah, something
motto
like that.
for the magic show. They seem to be raising money for a school.
Well, for the children, but
But
yeah.
yes,
Um. Anyway, so yeah, that happens. Vision goes to it's either the library or some sort of town hall.
it was
I'm
definitely the
not too sure.
library.
Yeah.
Except they
Anyway,
didn't have to be
so he goes
quiet.
there, and they're sort of just discussing stuff. It's not really a community watch. It's more than just a gossip group.
Yeah, the
And
gossip
eating
group.
pastries.
The gossip group of all the men in town or something. Not all of
Yeah.
them, but some of them. And they all have Danishes, which is lovely. I do like me a Danish.
Yeah. Anyway, so I believe, yeah, they're passing like gum round, and Vision's like, no, I don't do that. I don't Is it masticate? Did he say that?
Masticate, I
Yeah,
think.
that's it.
Yep.
And then he has one anyway, and he's sort of chewing it, and he didn't mean to, but obviously it goes down his throat and gets like tangled up in his gears.
Yep, of course Vision is I don't think we've explained this yet. Vision is a robot, kind of. A synthezoid, I think.
Yeah, synthozoid.
I mean, the gears is an odd touch, though, because I don't think he had gears.
It's more just for like the comedic purposes, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Like
don't
the
think it's meant to be
animation.
taken literally.
Yeah, no.
But
Anyway, so I don't know if this is before or after, but he does call Norm out for being a communist. I mean, I don't think it means anything. I don't think Norm is actually a
No.
communist, but
I mean, I hope he is. Bloody hell, I certainly am. But I think it's more of a reference to the 60s. Of course, the Cold War's
yeah,
going on at this point. If you actually out someone as a communist, they might be taken by the government or something. It's
yeah,
it's really certainly a thing that happened.
yeah. So anyway, so at the like sort of garden party, Wanda meets someone called Geraldine, and they sort of hit it off instantly. All
Hmm.
that, just discussing stuff. And then because Wanda's been talking throughout, she has to stay behind and help Dottie clean up.
Yep.
So they're helping clean up, and Dottie's sort of holding a glass, and then the radio starts acting up with a voice coming through.
Yeah, we hear a bit of a voice coming through, saying Wanda, Wanda, who's doing this to you, Wanda? In a very American accent, if I try to replicate. And yeah, it's a
I'm
bit
sure
weird.
he'll be proud.
Pardon?
Anyway, yeah, I'm sure he'll be proud of your
Yes.
attempt.
Yes. And we hear this voice coming through the radio, and we don't know whose it is, but they obviously know about Wanda, and probably her powers if they know about Wanda. But and it seems that this sitcom is something kind of nefarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, a bit
So
odd.
this is all going on, and Dottie's like something like, "You don't belong here."
Yeah.
And she breaks the glass in her hand.
Now
It does some. Yeah.
now of course when a glass breaks in your hand, there's going to be some blood, and the blood was coloured in this scene.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, of course, this episode is mostly in black and white, except for the helicopter and the blood, which It certainly
Sort of
it, it
signifies the colour seeping through.
it kind of reminds me of what pop art is it called, where everything is black and white except
Black
for
and
one
white,
thing.
except for one thing they want to like draw your eyes onto. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
So yeah. Anyway, that happens,
Mm.
and then obviously after that, I think there's like some sort of weird cut, and it cuts back to Dottie going, "Oh, do you know the best way to get blood out of white cloth or something like that?"
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I think that's where the advert comes in.
Yes.
Although the answer to that was to do it yourself, but I don't know if that's got any significance.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird joke, isn't it? Like,
Hmm.
yeah, I'm not sure I get it, but I'm a
Anyway,
man.
the advert. So this week's advert is Strucker Watches. So obviously
Yes.
Baron von Strucker was a member of Hydra
Yeah.
who was the one with Dr. List who experimented on obviously Pietro and Wanda.
Yes. So a bit of a reference to Avengers: Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
I mean, who doesn't want a watch with a Hydra logo on it?
Me, I want
you
one.
Oh right, you want one. Well, I mean I'd put, if Rolex did one or something, that'd be cool. Like I don't know. I don't really get the point for paying for a lot of money for watches, but I mean I'd buy like a
Yeah,
Hydra
no, I'd have
watch.
one anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway, we got off topic.
nothing wrong with
Anyway,
that.
yeah, so yeah. So I think that's it for the advert.
Yep.
And then we go back to the magic show's starting.
Yes, we go back to Wanda at the magic show that's just started.
Yeah, so Vision comes up. He's sort of acting all sort of drunk, I'd
Yeah,
say.
yeah.
Sort of, yeah,
The whole thing with him getting gum in his gears, ends up with him just seeming very drunk, which is
yeah,
very is good to see Paul Bettany. Well, one, it's good to see Paul Bettany act without prosthetic, but it's also a good thing to
yeah.
see him act drunk. Like I
It's
think,
amazing how he's come from getting a call up from like John Favreau to just voice an AI to being like this co-lead in a 1960s style sitcom.
Sailor V, Sailor V.
Anyway, yeah, so yeah, just Paul Bettany's an absolute gem to be honest.
Mm.
But still. Um so yeah, they're doing the magic show and Vision's sort of doing all like floating and everything and using his powers. So Wanda's trying to make like sort of homemade magic things to try and explain them.
Yeah, so Vision is doing actual magic that the people in 1960s America would never understand, and Wanda is trying to coyly show off mechanisms to which they can be explained. Like when Vision
Mm.
floats, Wanda materializes some wires.
Oh, that poor guy's piano.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Vision lifts up a piano, and Wanda has to turn the piano into cardboard. But like the thing is, surely the guy who was playing the piano knows when he didn't get his piano back. That was 2 bits of magic. I'm not entirely sure. It's a bit weird.
Yeah. Well.
Hmm.
But yeah, anyway, so they do that and then Vision they bring out the like sort of, the disappearing chamber and all that.
Yep.
And obviously they haven't put anyone in there.
Hmm.
And so they're sort of Wanda's sort of scrambling to try and figure out something to do. And she sort of makes Geraldine materialize in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Basically.
yeah.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, they do that. I'm just kind of worried about the amount of time they're spending on this, so I'm just trying to go for it.
All right.
Anyway, so yeah, they do that and they go off the stage. Everyone's clapping. One like Vision, what's going on and all that, and then she gets the gun out of him, and they go back to normal and try to sneak off.
Hmm. Yeah.
Dottie calls them back on stage and gives them the award for best act or something.
Yep.
And then they go home.
Yep, that seems about right. Does anything happen? Oh yes, color.
Yeah. No, not just that. Not just that. Hang on. So they're
The
sitting down
drain
at
man.
the TV and they hear a sound outside. And now Chris will explain what happens.
So yeah, they hear a sound outside, go to have a look, and all of a sudden a drain sort of comes open, and a beekeeper surrounded by bees walks out.
As beekeepers often do, come out
Yeah.
to sewers.
Just to mention, he has the same logo on the back of his suit as the helicopter and that notepad.
Mysterious.
Yeah.
So Wanda just
then-
goes, "No, not now,"
Yeah.
and seems to somehow rewind time back to their conversation on the sofa.
Yep. And then color washes
Yeah,
over
well,
them.
no, not yet. Wanda stands up and oh no, she's pregnant somehow.
Oh yeah,
Well, probably what they did earlier that probably caused it. But
yeah, when the
well,
beds
no,
were moved
well,
together.
but yeah. So yeah, then she goes like something like, "Is this really happening?" And he goes, "Yes." And then color.
Yep. And then the world goes into color, and we kind of move into the 1970s, where color television became a big thing in homes. And that's kind of where the episode ends off. Credits play.
Yeah. 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 I don't think anything else happens after the credits this time.
Yeah. Right.
So, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, once again, it was very enjoyable. Although they never actually seem to explain what happened to the Beehive Man.
Yeah.
Well, just sort of get reversed back, I guess.
Yeah.
Into the drain.
Yeah, but I really don't want to give any spoilers. But yeah, where does he go?
Maybe he
Where
was
did he go?
Maybe Vision outed him as a communist, and he was disappeared.
Yeah. Anyway, Chris, review and rating.
But yeah, no, I mean, I think I slightly preferred the first episode, although not by much. I'll still give it an 8 as well. So it sort of started its comedic value, including the mischievous rabbit.
Yeah.
Yep.
Senor Scratchy.
Senor
Didn't he
Scratchy.
play Jesus in the Nativity or something like that? Anyway, yeah, I'm sort of thinking along the same lines. I'd say it's on par with the first episode, and I don't want to rate it too highly because obviously, if I just start chucking 9s and 10s out now, they won't mean anything later on. So yeah, I'm just gonna.
Josh, the points don't matter. You don't need to keep them consistent.
I know, but I want to. Anyway, yeah, just another solid 8.
Right. I rather liked it. I liked the interactions between, of course, Wanda and Vision are split up and interact with the community a bit. In this episode, I quite liked the community interactions. Did Agnes appear in this episode at all?
Yeah, she was at the garden thing.
Agnes was a bit absent, I suppose. Agnes was at the magic show, but I don't think she really.
Yeah, she was at the garden thing and the magic show, and she was like, "Oh yeah," she mentioned the whole when Dottie says, "Oh, the devil's in the details," and she's like, "Oh, that's not the only place the devil is."
Interesting. I imagined that was trying to be a joke of some sort, but yeah,
yeah, probably.
Yeah, so yeah, I quite liked it. I didn't like it as much as the first episode. It's not as groundbreaking, of course, because it kind of moves on from the ground that the first episode broke. I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. So
yeah, that's a solid 24 across the board.
Yeah,
so all 8s.
Yeah, that is the end of our WandaVision coverage for today, and we're going to move back to Doctor Who now. So we're going from Earth 199999 and going instead to Earth 115 or something like that, where Doctor Who takes place. Of course, Doctor Who takes place in the Marvel multiverse. Try to wrap your head around that one.
I mean, everything takes place in the Marvel multiverse. Hence it being the Marvel multiverse.
Yeah. Of course, we're in the Marvel multiverse as well.
Yes.
Anyways,